Welcome in the next two members of our panel right here. Chuck Cavaleris, back for his 22nd year with us. You've been here since the start. Josh, I think you were 6 years old when we launched. Josh Ward from 99.1 The Sports Animal. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and put up our poll question, all right? And this is brought to you by Hearthside Bank. And like Hearthside Bank, our poll question is always within reach. All you got to do is go to sportsource.tv/polls or click the QR code. And the question today, would UT have been better off starting Iamaleava last year? Your answers, your possible options: no, Joe was plenty good; no, Joe earned the job; yes, we would have won more games. Those are the three, and right now the leader for people going to the website is Joe earned the job. So I'll be interested, and we're going to discuss that topic a little bit later in this show. But go ahead, click it, let us know your answer. Should Nico have been given the job last year? All right. We got three topics in this segment, and I'll let you guys go wherever you want. We don't all have to have a different answer here, so if we all agree on one, we all agree on one. It saves time. We move on. Question number one. Best player on the field yesterday, Josh Ward.
I'm going to go with Nico. There are a lot of players that put up big numbers, had a great day, but I think, like, if we look at Dante Thornton, he had a better day probably because of what Nico was able to do to help him. So Dylan Sampson I would consider. Right. Some line of scrimmage guys like Tyree West I would consider, but that matchup advantage that is so obvious. I'll go back to Nico. He was perfect for a while to start the game.
You know, everybody I think would say Nico, and I agree with that. But Dylan Sampson, I mean, how many times have you handed the ball off to him at the start? I think he ended up, what did I have it for? It was like 12 carries for over 134 yards. So there's been all the talk, is he going to be able to, he showed that he's capable of doing it against UTC.
Right, yeah.
But at least that part was encouraging, and then it seemed like Tennessee brought in a lot of running backs that looked like they had something to offer. So, I mean, I think that whole position group, to me, was more impressive than I really expected.
Okay.
I got to go with Nico. And one of the things that Josh Heupel said afterward I thought was interesting was that Chattanooga came out and showed a completely different alignment than what they expected, and Nico handled it.
Yeah.
He read it. He saw it. He starts 10 for 10. He starts 15 of 16. He starts 19 of 22. That's pretty impressive. So it's hard to go against Nico. There were other great players, but I thought he was the best.
Yeah. Bobby,
Nico.
Okay. Let's talk about the next one. Worst decision in the game. Now, we're going to do this every week. It could be Tennessee. It could be the other team. It could be coach, player, whatever you want to do. Worst decision. Was there a bad decision in yesterday's game?
Yes, I've got one, but it's my biggest disappointment. But I thought there was a biggest disappointment. I think you know what that's
do you want to use this as biggest disappointment or worst decision?
Well, worst decision goes to Chattanooga's coach.
Okay.
You had fourth at about 1.5 yards up somewhere around the 45-yard line. You're already down 24-0, and you punt. Really? I mean, was it going to make a difference? They're going to score in 2 minutes.
It would have been 76-3, Bob.
There you go. And that's probably what he was sitting there saying in the headset. But I thought, go ahead, give your guys a chance to do something, maybe have a little bit of fun, because they were going to score on you again just as soon as they touched the ball, which they did. So that was a bad coaching decision on my part, on his part.
Are there any other bad decisions?
Well, I thought UTC tried to offensively just do what UTC does. I would have looked for a little bit more RPO action. I would have tried to do something a little bit different other than just trying to be, this is who we are, what we do. We're not going to use the helmet to, player communication because it's really not able for us to use in our division. So it's just like some of those, you just think you could have tried a little bit more than what you did.
Here's the worst decision. The worst decision, and they all do it. They all do it because they want the money. They don't care about their players. They want the money. The worst decision is taking that game.
Yep.
Coming up here to be slaughtered. And I heard somebody call in and say, isn't it wonderful on your show today? And Tim Irwin was saying, well, it's great that we can keep money within the university system. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's not the job. No. Who cares? I don't care about Chattanooga's players, and obviously Chattanooga's coaches don't either.
Care about
the administration doesn't. I don't see it. We talk about theyose guys get the chance to come into Neyland Stadium. Yes, and remember having their heads taken off. I don't understand the big draw of, hey, when I was in college, I got clipped by Alabama, I got killed at Auburn, I got destroyed at Tennessee. I just think that's the worst decision.
Did you see how much it was?
The worst decision is having those games.
Was it $550,000? That's what I read. And if that's all Chattanooga got, they got shortchanged.
That'll barely cover their hospital bills.
Exactly.
Who or what was the biggest disappointment? Okay.
Well,
Watching Tennessee run out in that crappy gray. I mean, it's
Home
your
opener.
first game of the season, and you're sitting there, and you had a gray uniform, which it isn't one of your colors, and it's an ugly gray uniform.
And it's 150 degrees
Right.
out, and you're
I
deciding to
mean,
wear dark.
I just lose that stuff. Make it smoky black, burned in the trash cans out behind the
So,
football.
a UT alum texted me yesterday and said, take the letters off the helmets and
Yeah.
tell me who's playing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if I
It
didn't
looked
have
like, to me, it looked like Cleveland Browns jerseys or something. One thing real quick,
Yeah.
if you're Chattanooga, you're getting beat soundly. I mean, you got really nothing going on. You finally get an interception, right? You get a 71-yard return. The guy gets chased down from behind. You can't get anything going offensively, and then you miss the field goal. That,
Yeah.
I mean, not being able to
So
at
that would be
least-
their disappointment.
That would be their biggest disappointment.
Mine was, I'm sorry.
No, go.
I'm going to sound like a coach. I probably need to watch the film. James Pearce was a no-show, I thought.
That was my biggest disappointment. 24 dropbacks for Chattanooga. You had one sack as a team.
Yeah.
James Pearce, #1 player in college football, wasn't on the stat sheet.
No, he wasn't. And I get the scheme. I know they were throwing it quick, and I probably triple-teamed him a lot.
Right.
But he just didn't show up. Other than he kind of got in on the forced fumble, but that was about it. I didn't see him making plays. And, you know, again, I don't know how many snaps he played either, but I just didn't. I thought he was a no-show.
Yeah, I'm